is not a problem. It's an opportunity. So most of the way, so it's all about, like if you think of, one way to think about it would be to think of like the creator as this S&M type individual who has created everything and bound it all, you know, in a particular way where it can't really, but everything that exists enjoys that bondage to a certain extent. You know, that there's pleasure in it. You know, so the thing about Wendy's is that, yeah, you have moments of feeling like you want more or something, or you want to be free or free from something, but really, I don't know that that's a kind of tricky way to think about things in terms of freedom or bondage, because it's really, it's more about subtle things, like it's not about being free from eating, it's about wanting to eat a particular thing in a particular way. It's about subtle distinctions as opposed to kind of any kind of radical hope for, like I don't think this character longs for transcendence of existence. Existence is this thing that's, it's the imaginary connected in or connected to the real. Like, and this speaker, this person doesn't want to be free from the real, doesn't want to go into some purely imaginary space, doesn't want to transcend actual experience or the actual sort of course of existence. He wants to, I think of one of the letters which says something like, I want painkillers, not because I want to feel apart from the collision that is going on, but because it will allow me to feel the collision better, in a way. So that's kind of the way I think about it, like a way in as opposed to a way out.
Cool. Yeah, that kind of already answers my third question. It was about the pain and like escaping monotony, but now I see it like the other way. Because I saw it as like the other way where like he was trying to get out of like routine, but yeah. So cool.
In a way, I mean, in a way he is, but it's like the way out of routine is to get closer to things as opposed to getting further away from them. But at the same time, it's complicated by the fact that these efforts to get closer to things don't always work. And a lot of times you feel his frustration that he's unable to, he tries, but he's unable to really get closer to things. And so it's a, yeah.
John? This is kind of just going off of Josh's question. But in relation to Michel Foucault, what do you think about the body, or how do you perceive it?
Yeah, well, speaking of the S&M, too, yeah, I think the thing about Foucault, the book that influenced me the most is the Discipline and Punish book.
Yeah.
And I just was really kind of blown away or very much impressed by the way that book didn't go where I expected it to go, or where you know, and I think I read that book first as far as Foucault. And so he sets it up to show that the penitentiaries, the prison system is not doing what we claim it should do, for those of you who don't know this book. The prison system, in fact, does not reduce crime. It has only ever increased crime, and has the more prisons you build, the more people will be put in them, and the more crime you will create. This is indisputable, sort of statistic-wise. But then he goes in a direction that you don't expect, which is, he says that this isn't a problem necessarily, or he doesn't view it's that turn he takes where he says that we shouldn't try, this desire to bind people, or to it's been a good while since I've read it, so I'm probably, but I think it's kind of what I was just saying in the last question, where that's the impact that book had on me, was to make me realize it's not about trying to get out of bondage. It's about confessing that we want bondage, and the ways in which it's possible to pursue that, and the ways in which, so in a way, poetry then is not out to produce some sense of transcendence from the ways in which we're bound into the body, but is meant to produce a sense of a keener sense of the ways we're bound into the body. It doesn't produce freedom from that bondage. It produces a keener sense, or it produces the ability to conceivably be pleasured by that bondage, by our own bodies.
Like an appreciation.
Appreciation, yeah.
And my second question is, were you happy while writing this?
I mean, there's how many, I would have to try to break it down in terms of how many sentences I wrote, and like address each sentence.
Just how you felt like during because you said you wrote you'd probably write one a day, or you'd write 4. I mean, what was your, I guess, working habits? And, yeah.
I had got a job or not a job, some sort of little award, or where I got to live at Bucknell College for one semester, and they paid for me. They put me in a house there, and I forget what it's called. Oh, the Philip Roth Writer in Residence is where I was, and then they paid me like $6,000 or something. It's just a thing for young writers. I had published one book. So I was living there, I think, when I started, and I got a little bit into it, but I really got into it when I moved back with my girlfriend, who now my wife, but she was living in Wisconsin. And so I moved there, and she let me have 3 months off when I got back, and I think I wrote a good portion of it in those 3 months, where I would just get up. We had this little house on Lake, Wisconsin. Sounds expensive, but it was just this little shack in this area where not close to any city, so it wasn't expensive. So